everybody, it is me, Tokkuri Yashi, your Palmtree friend. How is everybody doing? Hope you are well, and the 6th anniversary countdown has begun. We have been getting lots of wonderful stuff with this, including, well, an extra 100 gems a day for 16 days and 1,500 gems on the 15th. So, by the 15th, when the anniversary should begin, you will have been given enough gems for 2 multis, which will help out. It's nowhere near getting into a pity for those of you that don't have many gems, but it will be a help. We've also been given this story event, I Wish, which features the astral versions of the Twinkle Wish girls, as well as 3 other characters that resemble them. Now these 3 other characters have been given names now. We do Erisu, the one that was the counterpart to Yui. We have got Shinatsu, who is the counterpart to Rei, and Eira, who is the counterpart to Hiyori. Are all featured in this event. We can get Rei, the free-to-play Astral Rei from this story event, but this is the reason we are here today, because we have been given the limited banner for Astral Yui. So it's Yui that we are going to be having a look at today. Because Rei is a free-to-play character, we got Yui today in this banner. That should suggest that on the 15th we will be getting a summonable Astral Hiyori as well. Now this banner here is here till the 12th, so there will be some returning banners coming between those. But is this Yui any good? That's what we want to have a look at today. Is Yui any good? Do we want to be summoning for her? What does she do? So with that, we will jump over here again. We have got another handy cool little image for Astral Yui. Now, she is a magical character. She does sit quite far back, but she doesn't have anything which is in range. All of her buffs are for all characters, so her positioning isn't as important as some other characters. And again, she's a light attribute. This light attribute seems to be getting all the good characters. They did say that there's going to be some kind of readjusting of the attributes to balance them. I think they might need to, because the light attribute is the one that is by far looking like the best. Anyway, we want to know what Yui does. You may have already read this. We'll have a look. Astral Prism is her union based, which greatly increases the magical attack power and magical crit of all allies whose barrier is deployed. Now that barrier can be deployed in skill 2, we'll get to that. Causes huge magical damage to the characters. This is quite a big damaging attack. This is a Yui. Not many Yuis do damage. I think the Princess Yui was a DPS, but this is another character, another Yui character that can do high damage. The amount of increase of the magical attack power and magical crits hit increased up to 2 times according to the remaining hit points of allies. So the base magical attack is 4,440, so it can go double that, 8,880. If there is enough hit points left in the team, the crit rate is 100, so it goes to 200 if they get the full buff with the amount of hit points left in the team. So these are quite decent buffs, and the magical damage is pretty damn good as well, actually, looking on here. Quite high damage. Her skill 1, Raster Shower, greatly increases her own magical attack power, slightly increases damage from critical magical attacks, and deals large magical damage to one enemy character in front of you. She also recovers 200 TP to herself from this skill. The amount of increase of the magical attack power and damage from critical magic attacks increases again up to 2 times according to the amount of hit points that your team has. So you want your team to be close to full hit points as close to full hit points as possible to get this double buff for her own magical attack and crit damage there on her skill 1. On her skill 2, Shiny Garden, she massively increases the magical attack power of all allies with a barrier deployed. Now she does deploy a barrier on her skill 2. She moderately recovers the hit points of all allies without a barrier, and then there we go, she deploys that barrier which nullifies physical and magical damage. Now this barrier is 180 seconds, so it stays up permanently. Well, it'll stay up, I don't know how exactly it works, it stays up permanently, but once it has nullified the 9,472 damage it says here, it'll not be nullifying anymore unless she puts the barrier back up again on this skill 2, I guess. If the barrier is finished with its nullification, all the damage has been taken, does the barrier go back down again? Because it will make a difference for her union base, because that needs the barrier up to be getting the magical attack and magical crit for all allies. But anyway, it is 180 seconds for this barrier. She also greatly increases her own magical attack power and recovers another 200 TP. So both her skill 1 and her skill 2 are giving her 200 TP. That's pretty big. She's going to be union bursting quite often because she's giving herself 400 TP just from her skill 1 and her skill 2, which we'll have a look at the loop pattern in a minute to see how often she will be getting that. The amount, again, the increase of the magical attack power increases up to 2 times according to the remaining hit points left of all allied characters. Where are we? The 8,880 base, so it can be doubled for the magical attack increase, and the hit points recovered is pretty big as well. It's nearly 20,000 hit points, so very good indeed. Very, very good skills here for this Astral Yui. Now, as you can see there with her loop pattern, the first skill she does is this skill 2. It will therefore put the barrier up straight away. It will also give her 200 TP instantly, getting her closer to that union base. And then her skill 1 gives her another 2p, which is the second action she does when she enters battle. With the barrier up, with everybody probably at max hit points because it's right at the beginning of the battle, then you're going to get a huge buff to magical attack power and magical crit for all allies. So there we go. Very good indeed. And when it gets into the loop, we've got, what have we got here? I've got a better image in front of me here. We've got it's 4 normal attacks and 5 skills in the loop, so the skills will be going this quite. It's not too bad a loop pattern there to be getting off these skills, getting the TP booster, getting all these buffs and barriers up. So a very, very good character there indeed. So what do we think of this Yui? Like I said, very good. She's very similar though to Princess Carol. Now Princess Carol is a character that she's been compared to. This Carol unit is a pre-fest unit, used a lot in clan battle, used a lot in other places in the game that I've seen. One of the characters I don't have that I was targeting on the next pre-fest banner. So can this Yui really take her place or be swapped out for her? Does that make the Carol not quite as important to have? I'm not so sure. I think it's probably good to have both of them, which is the unfortunate thing for all of you out there who don't have many gems at the moment. Because once again, this Yui is looking very, very good. She's looking pretty juicy. Yeah, well, something looking pretty juicy indeed. And I think if you can't summon for this Yui, then I would probably advise doing it. I will be summoning for this Yui, so look out for my summons for her coming up very soon to see how lucky I am. I hope you're very lucky with this Yui too. Good magical damage, very good buffs to the team, barrier that helps your team survive. What she doesn't have though, which I haven't mentioned when in the comparison with Carol, is physical magical defense down. She doesn't have any magical defense down, which might be a problem because Ilya, Ceremonial Ilya, who is another core of magical teams these days, doesn't have it either. So you're going to need to find somebody probably on this team in a very limited space that also has the magical defense down that you would need. Maybe that's where certain Nenega characters might come in. Perhaps there might be a few other options out there, but if there's any downside to this Astral Yui, it's that she doesn't have magical defense down, but then we can maybe work around that with a team. Very good unit, Let me know what you think of her. If you summoned for how you did. And I will see you all again for another video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye 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 bye.